About 80 years ago, on August 6th of 1945 at 8:15 a.m., a flash brighter than the sun lit the sky over Hiroshima, one of the most populous southern city of Japan. In just 0.2 seconds, temperature soared to over 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit. To put that into perspective, the temperature of the surface of the sun is over 9,000 degrees Fahrenheit. People within half a mile of the blast were vaporized instantly. Bronze statues melted. Shadows of school children were etched into the concrete walls. Imagine the agonizing pain that each of them died with. By the end of the day, 80,000 were dead, and tens of thousands more would follow in the weeks to come. The weapon's name was Little Boy, an almost ironic title for the first atomic bomb ever used in war. Little Boy was dropped onto Hiroshima by a Boeing B-29 Superfortress plane, nicknamed Enola Gay, flying out of a Tinian island in the Pacific.
At Tinian, 100 miles north, 2 more B-29 wings prepare for takeoff.
Only less than 2% of its uranium actually achieved nuclear fission. And yet, the devastation was unlike anything humanity had ever seen until then. The bombing came just 3 months after Germany had officially surrendered in May of 1945. But Japanese empire had refused to yield. The United States then unleashed this devastating bomb in one of the denser cities of Japan. This nuclear bomb, the first among the two to be ever used in a war, was extremely lethal. The irony of calling it a little boy has not lost on me. Weighing nearly 10,000 pounds, it required the Enola Gay more than 2 miles of runway to lift off. The crew in Enola Gay later described, a giant purple mushroom had already risen to a height of 45,000 feet, 3 miles above the plane's altitude, and was still boiling upward. Even more fearsome was the sight on the ground below. The city we had seen so clearly in the sunlight a few minutes before was now an ugly smudge. It had completely disappeared under this awful blanket of smoke and fire. Just 3 days later, the US dropped another bomb nicknamed Fat Man on August 9, 1945, in another extremely dense Japanese city of Nagasaki, killing an estimated 40,000 to 70,000 people. I have always felt when you put people's lives, and especially death, in numbers like these, it's easy to be numb to these. I implore you to imagine each human being killed in these bombings could feel the pain same way as you and me can. And a lot of them were survived by their family members, parents, children, and other loved ones. So when I put number of deaths like these, 80,000 in a single day in Hiroshima and 40,000 to 70,000 in Nagasaki, I hope we can pair these numbers with human suffering and agony. Hey, Editor Pawan here. Tinian Island, a tiny speck of land close to the American territory of Guam in the Pacific. It is an island that the US used extensively as an airbase during the Second World War. Indeed, the B-29 bombers that dropped the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki flew from this exact island. For a while, Tinian used to be the largest airbase in the world, but it was soon abandoned as a military stronghold after the Navy disestablished the advanced base in 1946. Lately, since 2023, the US has started remilitarizing the island back again. In a potential kinetic war against China, this island, Tinian, can again prove its strategic significance as a military base. The war, if it were to happen, would certainly be cataclysmic, because China is also a nuclear power now, and it boasts a vast arsenal of missiles that can obliterate most American bases in the region. Considering that fact, Tinian is not just a nice-to-have base now, it is a strategic necessity, and it would serve well for the American strategic posture that Tinian is battle-ready sooner rather than later. As the American intelligence has noted in the past, Chinese President Xi Jinping has instructed the PLA, People's Liberation Army, to be ready for Taiwan invasion by 2027. The report suggests that the American military is not preparing this base with enough urgency in mind, while the American Defense Secretary has publicly already admitted that the Chinese attack on Taiwan could be imminent. We did an entire video on this. Go watch it if you haven't. I will follow this closely so you don't have to. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow along to know more. Now, my purpose here is not to litigate whether the US was right to use the bomb not just once but twice in a civilian area to achieve sufficient deterrence. Even with the benefit of hindsight, the debate has raged on for decades, rightfully I think. and I do not expect to settle it in this video. But do let me know in the comment section, which side of this debate are you on? Was it a war crime or was it justified? This video, taped on the 80th anniversary of Hiroshima, is to remind you, me, and anyone who might be watching this video the power, the terrible destruction, the agony the first nuclear bomb built 80 years ago possessed. That bomb, which was relatively very crude and extremely inefficient as compared to the bombs of today, changed the course of human history forever. And I will reiterate, only 2% of the nuclear material of that bomb ever achieved fission. For context, take the modern B-83 for example, a modern thermonuclear weapon in the US arsenal. It is considered to be 80 times as powerful as the Little Boy. Even more terrifying was the Tsar bomb, tested by Soviet Union in 1961, which was over 3,300 times more powerful than the Little Boy, the Hiroshima bomb. Although nuclear bombs have never been used in active warfare since 1945, we use them every day, in a sense, for deterrence, arguably preventing full-fledged wars between the global superpowers and saving millions of lives in the process. It is also true that the science that has enabled these nuclear weapons has also had extremely valuable civilian applications. For example, in energy, for carbon-free green energy production, which is a significant source of the world's energy supply. In medicine, used in cancer therapy of all places. You may know it as radiotherapy too. Nuclear science is extremely useful in other areas also, such as space exploration and agricultural exploration. Even the smoke detectors in your household and airport security scanners use this technology. The point is, value gained from the advent of nuclear science is immense. This channel has always and will always advocate for nuclear non-proliferation. As we had noted before in the genesis of Ukraine-US relationship video, I'll link it somewhere in the screen, go watch it if you haven't. After the Cold War and the subsequent end of the Soviet Union, enabled massive disarmament efforts, with thousands of nuclear warheads dismantled or retired. However, with the last remaining arms control treaty between the US and Russia, named New START Treaty, which aimed to limit the number of deployed nuclear warheads and weapons delivery system between the US and Russia, set to expire in February 2026, we may be on the cusp of another dangerous era of nuclear proliferation all across the world, especially with this tense international order. There are already 9 countries that possess these extremely deadly weapons. And now, with Iran chasing it and other countries losing faith in the US nuclear umbrella to come into the aid when needed, there is a real risk of escalation in the global nuclear race again. But I truly hope and urge that the nuclear bombs will never be used again in warfare. Let all of us look at these fateful days of August 6th and August 9th of 1945 not as a precedent, but as a permanent lesson for all of humanity. Not just today on its 80th anniversary, but for the 85th anniversary, 90th anniversary, and for every anniversary to come. All of us today share the fruits of this scientific achievement. So let us also share in the responsibility to ensure that nuclear technology is used only for humanitarian and civilian purposes and never again to take another single human life. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments, whether you agree, disagree, or simply want to reflect. And if you found this video meaningful, consider sharing it with someone else like you. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps more people find thoughtful and fact-based content like this. I will leave you with this quote from The Economist, published just days after the bombing on August 11th of 1945. If this new and enormously potent source of power can now be harnessed to something more useful than the devastation of cities, it may make possible strides in material welfare larger than any yet dreamed of. But to the great mass of ordinary people, it is just one more, the largest and most terrible of the horrors of war. One more weapon of destruction to which there is no answer. One more terror which it is better to have on our side, but best not to have at all. Facts and opinions.